Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse and nothing particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part. It is the way that I have of driving off the spleen and regulating the circulation. Whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is damp, drizzly November in my very soul. Whenever I find myself involuntarily pausing before coffin warehouses and bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, and especially whenever my hypos get such an upper hand to me that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the streets and methodically knocking people's hats off. Well, then I count it high time to get to sea as soon as I can. This is my substitute for pistol. Moby Dick. One of my favorite books ever. What I like to consider the very first 200-year-old Reddit post. I love this book. I love this man, Herman Melville, right here. This book means so much to me in different ways than it might mean to a lot of other people. A lot of people, they talk about Moby Dick, right? They talk about Captain Ahab, this wonderful, charismatic, powerful man trying to overcome God in his madness to overtake an enemy of the world itself. For to kill Moby Dick is to become God, to finally prove that you are everything that you say you are. People love that story, this cautionary tale of revenge. This wonderful, wonderful tale of people getting stirred up in a whirlwind of passion to eventually come crumbling down as you follow a madman to a watery grave. For both jaws, like enormous shears, shall bite the craft completely into it. And a lot of the characters in this book are kind of analogs for man himself. Herman Melville wrote a piece of himself into every character. The charismatic power of Captain Ahab, perhaps. Perhaps you fashion yourself as them as well. Able to use your words, use your passion, use your fire that burns within your soul to sway and stir a people to action against what you view as a great injustice upon this world. Perhaps you see yourself as Queequeg. Powerful, talented, immensely capable, but just inexperienced in the ways of the world, able to be swept up into another man's ambition and eventually find your downfall for not seeing the madness soon. Perhaps you see yourself as Ishmael. This scholarly lad. This seemingly inactive participant. Somebody there to record the history rather than act within it. Ishmael is a Redditor. Written in 1850. It's the only way I can explain him. He's my favorite character in this book. Because Ishmael is a analog. He's a piece of this guy right here, Herman Melville. Look at this guy. Look at this man. You're telling me that this guy isn't going to write 700 pages about how much he dislikes the whaling industry? Not because it's bad or for the environment or anything like that, but just because he could do it better. There are entire chapters of this book built around Herman Melville's hatred of naming schemes for whales and how he would do it so much better. And every sentence, every paragraph, every page, every chapter that goes along becomes funnier and funnier and funnier because he completely loses the script to tell you about how smart and cool and awesome he is. And how he is going to do everything better than anyone who would even consider themselves an expert in the field. Because he knows better, because he's passionate about this, man. And he's going to tell you exactly how you should think about this. I'm smarter than you, and I know better in this field. This is a 170-year-old Reddit post, and it's beautiful. All through this character of Ishmael. And Ishmael is also caught up in this whirlwind, in this madman's knowledge, in this one man's quest to become greater than God himself. Because anyone can. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how knowledgeable of the ways of the world you are, how talented you are, anyone can become Ishmael. Anyone can become Ahab. Anyone could follow this man to their deaths or lead a group of individuals that way. And perhaps you see yourself in many of these characters, because what is fiction than the ability to put yourself in the shoes of man, built around great quests and stories? That's why we come to this, man. We want to be in the thick of things. We want to be Captain Ahab. We want to see the injustices of the world and drive all matter of man insane so that they will help me conquer what I see as wrong. That's the power, man. That's why we come to fiction. Because we can be swept up into these stories. Because we can see ourselves in these characters. And like I said, perhaps you'll see yourself as it. Perhaps in what we call the Final Fantasy Healer Strike, a man will find himself in front of a camera and passionately scream into the ether. Perhaps things were not 100% accurate. They don't need to be. Perhaps I could yell things that are factually inaccurate. Perhaps I will get things wrong, but does that matter? Doesn't matter. Or am I trying to stir a people to a cause? Am I trying to create a white whale so that we as a community can finally slay what we see as injustice in this world? Do I view myself as Captain Ahab, perhaps? Do I view myself as Queequeg? Do I view myself as this man, talented, able, incredible, but easily lost within a whirlwind of a cause, throwing myself at this cause, and throwing myself into the watery depths, unaware of what I'm doing, unaware of what I have done, unaware that this will kill me. This will destroy me. I don't really view myself as either of them. There are a piece of those within me, but no. Chapter 1. Lumens. Call me Ishmael. That is what I am. The 1850s equivalent of Reddit. All built into Final Fantasy XIV. That's what we're here to talk about today, boys. Because the more things change, the more things stay the same. Holy smokes. Do you ever wonder if anything's going to change? Do you ever wonder if things can actually become different or better? Do you wonder if you could scream and yell at the ether, try to gather people to your cause if they're actually going to do anything about it? Or will there be always an ebb and a flow? Like the ocean itself, the tides pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling. Towards the end of an expansion of Final Fantasy, we find ourselves finding everything much too easy. We have too much item level. Everything is a little bit plain. We're too used to our buttons. We want to see change, man. And then the new expansion comes out and the people that weren't playing suddenly get into the game. And what happens? The game is suddenly too hard. People can't handle 100+ levels of experience. And so we find ourselves in the situation we are now. I think that this is all fake. This is all false. I don't keep up with community stuff, I suppose. I heard about the healer strike. I see a lot of people. There's Discord, all this kind of stuff, right? So I can pinpoint where everything is coming from, but I hear everyone is, quote-unquote, complaining that the game is too hard. Oh, I can't do it. It's too difficult. And the game... So we have a group of people that are just complaining that the game is too difficult now. Despite the fact that we have the healer striking because we want to see more use of our tools. We want to see a broader... It's hard to even explain, man. We want to have all of these buttons, and we want to actually have a reason to use them, right? We want to actually use our stuff. And nothing is going to change as long as, well, it's too easy. Because we won't have a necessary use for all of our tools. We won't have a means to actually use all of our buttons, right? Like, look at all these buttons. This is just White Mage. Look at all these different, like, places that are just open, right? As a White Mage, like, I have this button, and 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 this button that enhances this button, which I can go in to use this button, then I can use this button, I can go faster with this button to get even more heals. My brother in Christ, that's a lot of buttons. That's a whole lot of buttons. These aren't even all the buttons. I'm only like 92 on this class. Do we need all these buttons? In Endwalker, no. In Endwalker, all you need is this button. Glare. I know my face is probably in the way of that, but all you need is glare. Glare is all you need. And that's kind of the problem. Then people go into dungeons and such, and then what happens? We see tanks capable of soloing the dungeons, so... like, what's the point of having all these buttons? And then, of course... Oops. We have something like this. A much more bloated class is Astrologian. But you have all these buttons and zero uses for them, right? That was kind of the general consensus, I imagine, for what people were complaining about with Endwalker. Is that I have all these buttons and I can go into a dungeon and not have to press all these. And so we come to Dawntrail, right? And all of a sudden, the ebb and the flow happens. Suddenly you realize why nothing is going to change. Because you could have a group of people so fed up with the fact that, well, nothing is going to change. That this game is too easy, that you're not getting anything out of this. And you want things to change. But it's never going to. Because people won't change. A new group of people that find this game way too difficult is the white whale that the healer strike is trying to destroy. And that's kind of the issue. Ain't it? Let's go Alliance Raid. Fuck this. Because now people find themselves, oh, the game's too hard. A new mechanic? In a dungeon? Is that a Shiva blast and that's moving? I can't handle that. I'm going to die. Oh no. Dying in the video game? A fail state at all? Where you can just get back up without any consequence and do it better and win? Imagine. That's crazy. It's nutty. Couldn't be me. Game's too difficult. Why aren't I winning? Then you find people suddenly back in the game and they find themselves in a scenario where I haven't played this game in 3 years because I just did the base story and then I played it a little bit where new stuff came out and then why is the game so hard? Why am I not used to these buttons? Why am I not used to this class? And then I have my own brother. I was talking to him about Dawntrail and all of a sudden he's like, dude, I have been spoiled. I have been spoiled by having you as my healer. I'm not even a very competent healer. I'm a good healer, I guess. But I'm not like the greatest gift to healers, right? I just know what my buttons do and know when to press them. That's what I should be doing, right? So, what's going on? Why are people mayo? Uh-oh. Why are people upset about this? I cannot see. I don't have my glasses on. We're doing it, boys. We're doing it live. So, people are mad because the game's too hard now. And I'm mad because nothing's ever going to change. Because we can't make the game harder. We can't make the game more... I guess, like... We can't make the game deeper. Because the deeper that the game gets, the harder that the game gets, the more that people have to, I guess, work with the mechanics of the game to actually have a good time. So, nothing will change. And that's sad, because I want to see change. Oops. So, that's the problem right now, right? I feel like I had more preamble than explanatory, but how do we do this? How do we change? How do we make this better for everyone? The problem is that we can't. The only thing we can do is grit back and say, no! The game is not too hard! Stop trying to convince everyone that the game is too hard. I don't want the game to be brain dead. Stop. Please. But that'll never happen. Because that's the core audience. That's who we're going to have to listen to. Because that's who is going to pay the subscriptions at the beginning. There's a lot more people paying the subscriptions saying the game is too hard than people paying the subscription saying the game is too easy. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just the nature of how it's always going to be. Right? So nothing can change, nothing will change. And that's sad. And I don't want that to be the world that I live in. And this ain't like World of Warcraft where you could just like scream, get good, get better. Why don't you just get better, huh? This ain't the kind of community that does that. We don't want to inspire toxicity. So we find ourselves in a situation. A lose-lose, as it were. Because we can't expect people to be better at the game. We can't expect people to know what they're doing at level 100, apparently. So all we could do is desperately clamor towards a tomorrow in which the game could be better and never will be better. Because we have to cater to people that find this too hard somehow. I, for one, am very much enjoying Dawntrail. I was wrong about a lot of things. I thought the Dawntrail was going to be brain-dead, poopy easy. I think the Dawntrail is reasonably difficult so far. I like the dungeons. I like everything that I've seen. I like the new cool mechanics. I just got through the first trial. Very cool. It was a really cool fight. It felt cool to do, right? That's all I wanted. I wanted to interact with mechanics and feel cool interacting with mechanics, but that's too much. Apparently that's too much. We can't expect people to want cool mechanics. They just want to go through the game. How do we fix that? How do we do that? I don't know. Is it even possible? Could we even feasibly expect Yoshi P to do that? Is the question. To cater to everyone. A Sisyphean task. Always trying to cater to everyone, never capable of actually doing it. I think that this is a very good direction that we're in. I like where we're at. I would like to see some changes. I could sit here and don my Ishmael glasses and I could be like, well, this and this and this needs to change. Astrologian, I think, is baffling in its decisions that it made to the new card system. Bafflingly terrible, even. Drawing every minute does not feel very good. I mean, good lord. Like, I like being able to hit the button and draw a card a whole lot. It makes me feel special. Having all these buttons be similar to all these other buttons feels bad. Because there's no reason to use some of these buttons. Like, the bowl is a 10% damage mitigation. Exaltation is a 10% damage mitigation. Both of them come back every 60 seconds. I guess you could put 2 damage mitigations, but there's nothing in the game so far that I've seen that requires a damage mitigation every minute. You save this for the tank buster. Otherwise, it's kind of a useless button that I guess you could put in every GCD. Okay. This button right here. Oh, I just played it. The Ewer is a I think the Ewer is, yeah, healing over time effect. Granted to one person, comes back every 60 seconds. Celestial Opposition is an AoE heal effect that comes back every 60 seconds. Cool. We have I forget what button it is, but we have another one that is it's a shield that you put on everyone. On one person. Let me phrase that. A one-time shield that you put on someone, right? Celestial Intersection is a one-time shield that you put on someone that has the exact same potency and has 2 charges, comes back every 60 seconds. What's the point of having that card? What's the point of having that card? And it's like, well, if you don't like the cards, don't use them. You don't gotta play the cards. Then what's the point of the entire system? You're just waiting the 60 seconds so that you can put a balance on someone. So that you can put an arrow on someone. You're just waiting 60 seconds for your big damage card. And that's the end of it. Okay, cool. I'm happy, I'm glad. So there's no difference to the Shadowbringers or Endwalker, except you get less opportunities to use your funny card. The card system is baffling. I can't believe this is the direction that they went. I'm glad that they attempted to make the cards do more than just one thing, but this is not the way to go, man. That being said, Biggity Boys, 2 stacks of light speed. Yeah! 2 stacks of light speed? Yes, please. That's what we've been waiting for. 2 stacks of light speed is really cool. Why? Because every 60 seconds, you can go in, and all of a sudden, you become a ranged DPS. So you can pop 2 things every 60 seconds, and you're just going crazy. You hit your buttons. Whoa, I can hit all my OGCDs. I have all these buttons, and I can hit them all really fast. It makes me feel good about what I'm playing. It makes the class feel unique and cool and good, and I like it. It's good. More of that, please. More of this, please. I guess. It makes the class feel unique, and I like that. So this is a very good change. This is the best thing that I've seen in any healer. 2 stacks of light speed. It makes the Astrologian feel completely and utterly unique and cool. I like that. That's good. More of that. But this... Oh my god. Ew. Ew. Ugh. Chapter 1 Lumens. So some good, some bad. I like the general feel, but I don't like the direction of the card system because there are so many buttons on this board, dude. I've had to erase some buttons because A, there's no reason to actually play them unless in very specific situations. This and this is unbelievable. Benefic and Helios should just become Aspected Benefic and Aspected Helios. Why on earth do we have a Benefic and Benefic 2 and Aspected Benefic all on the same bar? I don't want to put a 4th bar on my nonsense, man. Why should I be expected to have a 4th bar on my nonsense? There's too many buttons. Less buttons, please. But I don't know. Some good things, some bad things. It definitely needs, like, they completely reworked the card system. This class needs to be put away and it needs to be completely and utterly redone. It's unbelievable how we've decided to do this. It needs a complete and utter rework. Because half the buttons are completely redundant. Half of these buttons, Exaltation should be taken out of the bar itself. People are going to be mad at me when I say that. Because Exaltation is a very good button. But Exaltation should be taken out of the bar by itself entirely. And it should be a button called the bowl. Celestial Intersection should be taken out of the bar entirely. And it should be a button called the Spire. Do more of that. Tie the actual skills to the card system and make buttons that enhance the cards so that the actual class is entirely tied to the cards. You gotta do more of that, man. So that the actual class feels unique and cool and good. And that the basis of the class itself feels unique. Because right now we just have a bunch of cards, and then we have a bunch of buttons that are shared within all the other healers. Every other healer has a one-person shield that they put on people. For the class is big heal. But if we don't have all these buttons, how am I supposed to heal the Dark Knight? Well, that'll give you an opportunity to use Sinistry. That'll give you an opportunity to use Macrocosmos. It will give us a reason to use our buttons if half of these buttons are taken away and tied to the card system. It'll give me a reason to use all my cards, because it doesn't feel very good when I have to just throw a card away because there's no reason to use it. Man. That's the basis of why I'm mad about the card system. There's no reason to use half of this stuff because the buttons already exist on the bar. So what's the point? Divination should not be on my bar. It should be on the card system called Lord of Crowns. Comes back every 60 seconds. Why am I Why do I have a big AoE heal, a big AoE damage? That's stupid. Every 60 seconds. I like that it's less tied to RNG, I guess. But why is it on the bar? There's no reason to hit these buttons. I mean, I guess there's a reason to hit Lord of Crowns. There's no reason not to hit Lord of Crowns because it's just there. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel like anything was kind of earned. You just wait for this to come back and did it. Coolio. Happy. Hitting buttons. Very funny. It's just buttons. And I want less just buttons. I want things to build up. Man. I just want, like, cool stuff to happen when I hit my cool buttons. I want this to be an integral part of my class instead of just something that you do because why not? There's nothing else to hit right now. Might as well hit one of my funny cards. Why is that the feeling that I have when I play this class? Get rid of half of this crap and tie it to the cards, man. Then I'll have to hit my card buttons. That's what I want. I want the entire class to be tied around this card system. I want to be hitting cards more than I'm hitting buttons. That's not the case right now. I want to have buttons that augment the cards, instead of buttons that just do what the cards do. This class needs a complete and utter reshelve and redo, man. It's baffling. But I am glad that they've decided to kind of rework how the dungeons and how the trials feel first. And hopefully, we'll see that they're going to, I don't know. We'll see that they're going to go ahead and try to make the classes feel unique. Give these changes to all of this nonsense, right? Give these changes to the classes that we want to see. Make the classes feel unique and special. This is already a great start. This is already incredible. 2 stacks of light speed? Are you kidding me? That's awesome. That's cool. I like that. More of this, please. I feel unique and cool and good, and I like it. More of that. Pretty please. So maybe we'll get more. But I hate how I have to be like that, man. I hate how I have to be like, well, maybe they'll change it, man. I'm gonna die. So, oh, thank you, God. He died so that I may live. Get it, res. But I hate that, like, that's... As a whole, that's what I'm mad about. That's what I want to see change. Is I want to see... Man, I want to see... Oh. I want to see a big ol' change. I want to see that kind of... I want to see that the devs are working on it. Right? I don't want to be like, well, maybe, well, hopefully. I guess we'll see in 3 years. That's not fun. Man. Alright, I cannot see this gonna be bad. Specified multiples, So, 8? Yeah. Like, is that too much to ask to know that something is being done? Pretty please. Multiples of 3, I'm still at 6. I'm already at 3. Take it. Easy mechanic, boys. Who said that math was hard? I'll kill you. I don't know. That's pretty much all I gotta say. I haven't even beat Dawntrail yet. It's been like way too long and I've been so busy with like work and personal obligations. Stuff gets hard, but I got through the first trial and I'm enjoying my time with Dawntrail so far. Story's good, but right now we have 2 different parties. The It's Too Hard and the Dawntrail party. So who are we supposed to What are we supposed to cater to? It's difficult. Game's too easy and too hard simultaneously. What do we do? I don't know. I want to expect the best of people. I want to expect the people will get better at the game. We're level 100. You need like 100 hours of the game to even get here. Why is it too much to expect that somebody knows how to play the game? I don't know. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, I got nothing else. I guess I could talk about the other healers, but I mean, Astro's really the only one that I have too much to talk about because, like, let's be honest, Astro's had a huge change. And there's a lot to talk about it with it, because there's a lot of good and a lot of bad, right? And I could talk about Scholar, my man. I could talk about White Mage. I like some of the changes of White Mage. I like how they sort of changed a few things, but I don't know. I want to see White Mage. I want to see White Mage be a long caster again. I want to just like up the potency by White Mage by like 2 times. Make them a long caster and then make them a legit DPS. Go nuts. I don't care. I want to see them go crazy with this nonsense. But who knows? Maybe that'll never happen because people like what's familiar and people want the game to be easier. Beats me! Until next time, everyone, the bar's open. Don't be dodgy. And enjoy your time. Love Final Fantasy. Love the fiction that we find ourselves lost in. Or something like that. I can't fucking believe I forgot about that. Okay, I gotta fucking... Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, making me clap with a broken fucking thumb. Just get this fucking thing off of me. So, I forgot one thing, very important. Extremely fucking important, right? So, we go into fucking Final Fantasy here. And it's gonna come in eventually. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so, Astrologian, right? We have 2 stacks of Lightspeed that come back every 60 seconds. We have a fucking draw system that comes back every 60 seconds, practically. Is there any reason whatsoever why this button can't be tied to this button? How come every time I draw this card, this is the moment when I'm gonna want to hit Lightspeed, right? It makes it so much more cumbersome if I have to hit one extra button. I don't care. It's just one small thing that can make this class feel immaculate and good. If this was tied to this, every single time I draw, it's going to feel great. Because all of a sudden, it's going to completely change my character for the next 15 seconds. It's going to make me want to use my cards because I can do two off-global cooldowns every single time because Lightspeed is connected to the draw, so, and it comes back at the same time. I know, like, in earlier levels, it's supposed to be, oh, it comes back 90 seconds, but there's absolutely zero reason why you would want to use this button at any time other than when you're doing Astro Draw. I don't care about like any of the fringe situations. I don't care to be like, oh, they're using a mechanic and I got to use my Lightspeed so I can run around and hit buttons so I don't lose any DPS. I don't care. I don't care about that fringe situation. I don't care about this fringe situation where you want to use Lightspeed and then use Ascend so that your thing isn't 8 seconds long. It's only 5.5. Whoa! Tech! Make me do that while I'm in my Lightspeed for Astral Draw. If I want to have a pure experience with all of this like craziness where I want to have like, oh, I need to time this perfectly, then make me time this perfectly with my draws. Don't make it so that I have to go make sure I hit my Astro Draw, make sure I hit my Lightspeed every time I use my draw. It's bad, it's poopy, and I don't like it. Put this on this, get rid of this button, all of a sudden there's less button blow, and the class is better. The class is just better. It makes everything feel better. It makes everything kind of warp into itself. It makes the class flow like water, like stars, flying across the sky, and it's good. Do that. Yoshi P, do that. Hire me and I'll tell you to do that. I'll make billions of dollars, millions of money. Do it. Okay, that's all I gotta say. Bye.